Hey folks, I wanted to drop a quick presentation on something that I've been working through. In BioCoach over here, we've done a pretty good job of creating a system to allow you to track your nutrition and consistently improve that and periodize that. And now really one of the things that I've been kind of focused on, because I've been seeing the need in our clients and I've been working on it with individual clients, is just the need to not just be exercising, but to follow an exercise program. So today I wanted to share what that looks like and how you can accomplish that. And then talk a little bit about the benefits that you can experience if you quit exercising, start training, and actually following a program. So let me go ahead and jump into this. The good news about everything that we're going to talk about is this will not mean you have to do more work. All this means, all following a program means, is you're just going to have structure to your exercise. You're going to have a training program, and it's going to maximize the efficiency of the work that you're already doing. If you haven't been exercising and if you're starting from zero, let's just get started. And then pretty soon we'll transition into a program. But for most people, you are already working out. And a lot of people are a little bit frustrated. Like, I already move, I already exercise. Why is my body not changing at the rate that I want or that I maybe expect? I mean, I think this can answer some of those questions and help you get better results. So stop wasting time. Let's measure your progress and let's set some goals for where you're headed. Okay, so today there's really 5 big reasons why I think everybody should follow an exercise program. The first is progressive overload. I'll explain what that means. 2, you have the opportunity to evaluate your progress. 3, it makes scheduling your week really easy. 4, this will allow us to coach you better to get better results. And 5, we'll be able to match your nutrition in the kitchen with what you're working on in the gym in a way that, again, is going to get you results. This is all about results. Okay, in regards to exercise, to preface everything we're saying, randomness is not necessarily your friend. It's true that it's generally true that all exercise is better than no exercise at all. So, if you're not moving, again, you've got to get moving. But if you're just kind of exercising randomly, you might get some results, but you're going to randomly get results. Many of us go to the gym, do a little bit of this, we do a little bit of that, and we get a little bit of results. We're not after that. We really want to help you change the way your body moves, change the way your metabolism operates, and, to some extent, change your life. I love the quote, "You can't manage what you don't measure." Let's just put some easy systems in place to measure what you're doing, and then we can manage it a little bit better. And then in regards to the, don't just exercise randomly, don't just move. Let's really think of our exercise lives as training. Training involves it's more focused than just exercise. I want you to start thinking of your exercise as training for your life, training your metabolism to be better. So the number one rule of training, of exercising, of effective exercise is called progressive overload. And it's defined as the gradual increase in stress placed upon the body during exercise training. So say you've just started exercising and you put a load on your body, that is going to force an adaptation. Your metabolism is going to adjust, your muscles will adjust. Your muscles get a little bit stronger, they wrap around your bones get a little bit denser. If you've got insulin resistance or high sugar, you put a load on your body, you do an exercise session, and your body is going to adapt by burning through that sugar and lowering your insulin. So you apply a load, your body adapts. At some point, your body's going to get used to this load and it's going to stop adapting. So you've actually got to increase the load a little bit, and then you're going to force another adaptation. And then you'll increase the load a little bit and you'll get another adaptation. And all the while your performance is going to increase. Now, the good news is you can continue adapting. You don't have to increase the load every day. You increase the load over the course of a month, over the course of 2 months. So, if you're running the math, you're like, oh my gosh, you're not having to increase the load every session. Don't let this think like, oh, I've got to get better every single time I go to the gym. That's not really the case. But over time, you do need to be increasing the load. Over time, you do need to be progressively overloading the stress applied to your body. Okay, so what does that mean, to progressively overload? Well, there's a lot of ways that you can do it. The obvious one is you can increase the weight of an exercise, but you can also increase reps, sets, or sessions per week. So all of these need to be factored by each other to equal like your total weekly volume or your total session volume. So this, I like this graphic. It shows that, say you're doing a 20-pound press overhead, and you can do 10 of them, but you can't really do 12. You might could do 11, but pretty much you're like, I can do 10 here. And you can do 3 sets. So then in about a month, you're like, hey, I'm feeling a little bit stronger. I know I could get 12. Let me see if I can push and get 15. You get 15, that's perfect. You can do 3 sets. You've increased the volume really significantly here. Then the next week, what if you're like, I was able to do 15 for 2 sets, but then after that, like my third set, I got like 13. I couldn't quite get up there. So then you actually increase the sets that you do. 'Cause you're like, I know I can do 10, but I don't know. I couldn't do 15 for 3 super well. I definitely can't do 15 for 4. So I'm going to go ahead and do back to 10 reps, but I'm going to increase the number of sets I'm doing. And then after that, like, man, I'm feeling a lot stronger. I'm going to double my weight, decrease my sets, decrease my reps. And all of those are ways to progressively overload your body. You will force a positive adaptation in each of those examples. Okay, so and by the way, following a program will allow you to keep track and will allow you to make sensible overload decisions with your coach, but I'll get there in a second. Evaluate your progress. Weekly volume is a great way to evaluate your progress, just like I showed here. It is literally a simple math calculation. Pounds times reps times set is a great way to do that. Along with body composition. So track your weekly volume, track your body composition using like the body composition scale we have. Track by taking pictures of your body, maybe with a shirt on, maybe with a shirt off, maybe both. Track your weight and track your blood work. Remember, we want to use all of those tools. We don't just want to use weight. But say like a lot of things begin to look the same, like the scale looks the same, but you've increased your weekly volume tremendously and you're getting a lot stronger in the gym, you're having a lot better sessions. That's a really big piece of progress that we need to evaluate. Another thing is this allows us to double check. Say you've been exercising for a month. If you've jumped onto a program and you've got consistent exercising for a month and your body composition isn't changing, your clothes aren't fitting differently, the scale isn't moving, pictures don't look different, your blood work's not improving, if all those things are happening, we need to be able to double check and see that you're increasing your volume. On the flip side of it, if you are increasing your volume, we should expect to see changes in some or most of these measures. Again, maybe the scale stays the same because you're building muscle, but you're losing a little bit of fat. Your body should, I love hearing from a client like, hey, my arms are tighter. I got a message from a client this morning, like they're buying new tops because the old ones don't fit. She's getting a lot stronger. She's been consistent with her exercise. Now we'll improve by tracking her weekly volume and seeing how we can sensibly increase that. We've forced an adaptation. She's forced an adaptation in her upper body. She's gotten stronger. The shape of her upper body is changing. Now, what's the next way we can progressively overload her to continue to see a change in these metrics? So I think the third or fourth reason why you should follow an exercise program is, like I said, we can coach you better. A lot of people have a question. Hey, what should I increase first? Should I increase reps, sessions, weight? Should I be training more? Hey, should I be training less? It's not uncommon for me to see a client who actually is maybe too overloaded. They're doing a lot of strength in the gym and they're doing a lot of cardio. And sometimes it's okay to actually walk back that cardio. We'll help you with this as your coaches, but progressive overload isn't necessarily linear. You budget in times of breaks and rest. Or maybe there's another way. I work with some people that are doing 8 sessions a week in terms of they're doing 3 to 5 sessions of strength and 3 to 5 sessions of cardio. So that's I call that 8 sessions a week. Hey, sometimes we pull away from cardio like take 2 days off of cardio and increase your strength days. That's actually a way to increase your volume, but it's going to decrease the stress like on your nervous system, for example. But again, all of these things are things that we can walk you through. We've got to be able to see like what progress are you making? How are you progressing in your current plan? And then the big one that I love is, does my nutrition match my training program? What are you aiming for in the gym? And then what are you aiming for with your nutrition? And if we can match both of those together, man, we're going to have a powerful result. So let me give a couple examples. Say I'm working with a woman over the age of 60. She's got osteoporosis, so she's got shrinking bones, and sarcopenia, so a loss of muscle. So a very realistic goal for her, even if she's got some fat to lose. It's like, hey, like if you lose more bone, you could be at risk of breaking a hip. If you break a hip, that could be a tremendous life-altering event. So a realistic goal for her would be to build muscle and restore some bone health. Like I mentioned earlier, you wrap those strong muscles around your bones. It's called a Wolff's Law. Bones will adapt to the weight or to the load put on them. So if you look at a boxer has really strong wrist bones because there's a lot of impact on their wrists because they're punching a lot. So, you know, a age-related muscle loss in a woman over the age of, really even over the age of 45, 50, let's build some muscle and restore bone health. So, hey, let's actually lift for a little bit more strength. So I actually want you to decrease your reps. I want you to increase your weight. And I don't want you, and I'm actually going to decrease the sessions that you're spending in the gym. You know, maybe she's, again, doing a good amount of cardio, or she's doing cardio and strength. Maybe say, hey, let's just do 3 good days of strength training, but lift a little bit heavier. Then in about 2 months, we could add in another day of training, another session through the week. Oh, and then by the way, let's make sure you're eating enough protein, getting enough fats, maybe even getting enough carbs to make sure you're building your muscle. And again, that's going to obviously, all those numbers are going to be individually dependent on this example that I don't have anyone in particular in mind with, but this is a very relatable example to a lot of people. Okay, how about another example? This is the one we all love, right? Fat loss and reversing insulin resistance. Again, I'm not anti-cardio. I'm just, this is something that's been in my head recently, as I've had a couple people actually who feel like they would benefit more from building some strength and kind of shoring up some metabolic things. And this is a strategy that can be used. I've mentioned that more than I probably wanted to, but so you've got fat loss, you got insulin resistance. You are actively pursuing fat loss, which means, hey, we want to make sure you're not going to lose too much muscle. So again, same thing. Let's make sure you're on a program that's gonna build you in an appropriate way. You know, one of your best tools for fat loss, like your 2 best tools for fat loss, are ketogenic intervention, you know, using that fat for energy, and then resistance training. Okay, so how do I follow a program? Like some of us is like, well, I've never even seen an exercise program. The reality is, I think all of you have, but you know, what does it look like to follow a program? Well, first thing, you know, you'll have, so this is the program that I send out. This is a very solid beginner's strength training program. So you got week 1, week 2, week 3. If I copied and pasted a picture of the whole program, you see that it progresses, I think 8 to 12 weeks. And as it progresses, it actually, it adds in progressive overload. But say you get in and you do a goblet squat by 3 rounds of 3 sets of 8 reps, 3 sets of 10 reps, 3 sets of 10 reps. You know, bring a notepad, make a note on your phone. You don't have to bring your computer, but you know, make a note of the weights that you're doing, and maybe you keep the same weight for 2 weeks. Maybe at about week 3, you're like, gosh, I really feel pretty confident with these movements. I'm going to increase my weights. Hey, that sounds great. We'll be able to see by week 8, week 10, week 12 that you've made significant progress. A good program is going to work your whole body, but it's going to work movements frequently enough that you're going to get good practice at these specific movements. If you are not following a program, follow this program. There's other things that we could do, but unless there's a good reason, just go ahead and get started with this program. So the first thing is fill in your weights or fill in your weights at the sets of each movement. Another big benefit of a program is that this really sets your weekly schedule. So this is obviously could translate really well to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday exercise. It could be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. But if you're doing 3 days a week, I would recommend highly, you know, rest days in between. say you miss a Wednesday, it's probably okay to move it to a Thursday and do Monday, Thursday, Friday. But in general, this is going to help you set your week. I've got a puppy falling asleep at my feet. This will also allow you to evaluate your progress and get feedback from your coach. Okay, quick question. I'm doing Vital Fit. How can I do a program? A lot of people are in Vital Fit and you're either pretty consistent with 3 days a week, or you do 3 days a week, 3 times a month, but maybe you miss 1 or 2 days in one of those weeks. I would highly recommend, if you're in Vital Fit, maybe add 1 at-home day of working out. It can be a lighter intensity day than Vital Fit is. But I would highly recommend for most of you guys, if you've been working in Vital Fit pretty consistently, let's add in another session. And you can add in a session based on something just like this. Maybe invest in a couple dumbbells or maybe a sandbag for your house. Most people, a really good way, and you can progressively overload yourself in Vital Fit. You could be keeping track of your weights at movements in Vital Fit. We have a workout and a weight tracker that all you have available. Set your weights on that as well, and just maybe make a targeted effort to increase your weights in Vital Fit. But then another great way is just add another day. That's going to increase your weekly volume. If you've been consistent with Vital Fit for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year, it's probably time to add and get up to that 4 sessions. Remember, 3 sessions a week is the minimum that we recommend people be working, and that is the minimum. And if you're missing a day occasionally, you really might be averaging, less than 3 days a week. So I'd highly recommend getting to that 4th session. The other thing is Vital Fit is periodized to some degree. As much as you can periodize a group program, it is. We're more periodized than any other group exercise that I know of. So for several months, we focused on conditioning. Now we're actually transitioning to give the opportunity for a little bit more focused strength training. And then you can work with your coach. You can work with me. You can work with Jackie. You can work with the resources we've given you to track your weights to find some obvious and easy and safe ways to progress your exercise. So I hope this is a good way to convince you that this is a way that you can just save time. This is a way that you can kind of fight randomness and follow a training program that you can reasonably expect to get you some good results. If you've got any questions, you always know where to find me. If you have not been following an exercise program, don't worry. Just go ahead and let's get on board and let's start. It will make a really big difference. And I've actually been working out a little bit randomly myself recently, and I need to go ahead and jump on a program. And I'm actually I'm going to work through this program as well and add, I'm going to make some adjustments to it that work for me, and I'm going to add a couple of things onto it. But I hope this was helpful. Please let us know if it was or if it wasn't. If you hated this presentation for some reason, let me know why. Anyways, let's all be in touch soon.